Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. My name's Gary, and today what we're going to do is make Kumquat Compote. Very easy, and I think you'll enjoy this recipe. Come and watch it with me.
If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.
Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living, a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
To make Kumquat Compote, you need kumquats. You need to have a friend with a tree because it's going to take a lot of kumquats to make this recipe. You need apple juice. I'm using Mott's 100% apple juice. You have to make sure it doesn't have any fructose, corn syrup, or anything else. The ingredients are only apple juice. You need some kind of jar to be able to put it in, or you can do freezer storage bags. You need to be able to mince them down to an acceptable size for your compote. I'm using here the Nija 1100 Pro. It's got these blades here that cut down the kumquats like nothing in a matter of maybe minutes. One of the things you'll see me remove seeds from the kumquats. Now it's very difficult to sit down on your cutting board and cut, so I have like 100 of them here, to cut each seed out of here. You want to save the seeds. I'll be telling you about that later in this video. So what we're going to do first is we're going to wash these again, wash them in the sink, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put them in here, and you're going to see how quick this is. So let's get started. Alright, so once you've assembled your kumquats out of the counter like I just did, you need to wash them. And what you're basically doing is just trying to rinse off any dirt. You see something like this where it's a black spot, don't use that. You can use this a different way. So put those to the side. You don't want to have too many blemishes because the skins and the fruit is what makes this compost really special. Here's another one. No blemishes as much as possible. I'm washing this down with cold water, making sure as soon as that's done, then you put them inside the blender. Oh yeah, and you kick the tripod at the same time. You want to fill it to the very top. Then you put the protective cover on the top, and with this one, the arrow go with the arrow on the handle. It won't work any other way. You have to have this open. It seals down. It's ready and safe. And I'm going to show you. Turn on your power, and then it's fast. And that's all there is to it. Now what I do is I continue putting in the product and the kumquats into the container. Match the triangle again. Seal it. Pulse it. Okay. Now we're getting there. We just have a few more to go. We're just going to put those on top. I know you're thinking maybe you should just do 2 batches. This works out. This is the 4th time I've done this, so I got my little procedure down. All right, that's it. Now, the reason I say to you that you need a tree. You can't, when you're buying it at the store, you're going to get 8 ounces for $5. There's just no way that you can do that. You need someone that gives you a tree, or you buy it in bulk. Okay, like at a farmer's market. All right, remember the seeds are still inside. This is the only hard part of this recipe. You have to remove the bulk of it. I'm going to show you. Put it in a large bowl. Oh, look, there's one of them that got away. I'll eat that one later. You turn this, unlock it. Just hold on to the insert where all the blades are at. And then you can see the seeds on the top. You want to save the seeds, and I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. Okay, so if you're making jellies, you always need pectin. And it turns out that lemons, oranges, all of the citrus fruit has pectin within its skin and within its seeds, which is really important. By saving the seeds of your kumquats, you can use them in other jellies. Say you want to make a blueberry jelly, but you didn't want to use the pectin that you bought at the store. You could actually get away with boiling them, boiling the seeds in maybe a cloth bag, and then as you're boiling it, the pectin will be released, and then you'll be able to put your preserves in a jar, and then after that, about 2 days to a week later, I mean every different jelly is different, then it's nice and solidified, and then you can give it to your friends or have it in your cupboard. Now I want to explain to you that this is freezer compote. In other words, it will, after you finish with it, it resides either in the freezer or it resides in your refrigerator. I don't have a water bath unit, though I am going to work with hot jars before I put in the kumquat into the jars. And then I'll let them cool a little bit, and I'll put them in the refrigerator. But this is an important thing. Now the next step we're going to do now is removing the seeds. This is the longest process to remove the seeds. So the next step is to put away these. We don't need these right now. This is the end of using the blender, except for cleaning this. Now I have to show you how I get the seeds out, and that's the only tedious part to this recipe. There might be other recipes that work just as well. This just works for me. So what I do is I get a plate, a large spoon. You have to make sure your hands are clean for this. And what I do is I scoop it out on here, on the plate, and I remove, this is going to be holding the seeds, I remove anything that's green, the green seeds. The clear ones don't really make that much difference. They just vanish when you're cooking it on the stove. The green ones, I feel they impart a bitter taste. I don't want that in my compote. I pick it out. So we're going to do this for a few minutes until this has got most of the seeds out. So all those kumquats that we grinded out and removed the seeds made 6 cups. Now there's still some seeds in there. As you cook them, you're going to slowly remove them. I mean, I must have pulled over 150 seeds out, and I have them on the side here, and I'll be cleaning them up, and then that'll be another thing. So right now, what you do next is you get a stock pot, and you need to have a stock pot that's big enough for your 6 cups of kumquat skins, and fruit. And because you're adding 3 cups of apple juice to it. So let's get that started. So the next thing you do is you get your stock pot. And you want a stock pot with a pretty good bottom to it. And you put this all in. And after you put your 3 cups of apple juice, you're going to boil it, hard boil on the stove for at least between 30 minutes and 45 minutes. I usually use 45 minutes. And that activates the pectin inside the kumquat to gel up your compote. So let's get that started. Here's a 4-cup measuring cup. Now what I did is I made sure that the apple juice was not kept in the fridge. Otherwise, I'd be fighting against myself. Basically, this would be cold and it would take a little longer for it to get hot in the stock pot. So that's one of the reasons. After that, you add it to it. And you mix it in. You put it on your stove. On high. When it starts bubbling, you adjust it slowly and then you start your timer. You don't start your timer until it starts to boil. I'm going to move the camera so you can see it a little bit better. Alright, so this is it right here. Mix it real quick. And then what you'll find out too is as you're trying to cook this, you're going to see the seeds floating to the top. You try to get the extra seeds out. Okay, so we're going to leave that for a while. I'll show it to you right prior to it boiling, and then I'll show you what's the next step. Alright, another reason why you're hard boiling it is just in case one of those kumquats had some kind of bacteria in it. By cooking it to about 165 degrees, and if you have a thermometer, you can double check it. You're going to be sure to be able to kill that bacteria. You don't get any of your friends or your family sick. So this is just, remember that this is considered freezer compote, not to be placed on the shelf. Even though I'm using jars that are hot, the reason I do that is that part of the canning process is that you never take something off the stove and put it into a cold jar because you could have breakage. Well, if you have it nice and warm and ready to go, you won't have as much breakage. Now these are not ball jars that I have, they're just standard jars that I've been collecting, and they're just going to go strictly in the refrigerator, and that will be the end of it. Alright, so it's going to take a little bit of time for this to come to, it's a huge amount, and then I'll be able to show you. Now I use this for multiple things. I put it on top of my toast, I put it on top of my cereal. I mean, to me, it's just a wonderful fruit, and I just love to share it with my friends. Okay, so we'll see in a little bit, and then we'll show you the next step. Alright, you can't really tell, but right along the edges here, it's boiling. We're going to let it go to a hard boil. You do have to constantly stir it. You can't walk away from this. And every once in a while, you'll see a green seed. You want to pull that out. And it's a little bit difficult when it's so hot, but okay. Now I want you to notice that I didn't use any sugar. The reason why is because I like my kumquats tart. I waited to the very last minute I could, and the kumquats were very, very ripe. And you know that is the most. It's just like a banana. You wait for the banana. When you first get it, it's yellow. And at the very end, if you wait for it, it turns brown. That's when the most sweetest part of it is. It's the same thing as a kumquat. You're just giving it more chance to be able to be as ripe as possible without developing any mold or like that. Anyway, so this is starting to cook. We're going to set our timer for 45 minutes. I'm going to show you how it counts down. So there it is. There's the timer. Kind of nice to have it in my kitchen. And then slowly this will just keep boiling. I'll be lowering the temperature, but constantly trying to keep it boiling as much as possible. This will release the pectin and will make it all worthwhile. All right, we'll see you in a little bit and we'll show you the next step. All right, it's been almost 45 minutes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the hot jars. I'm going to show you how I do that. In my sink, I installed an Insta-Hot. That's what this faucet is. It's pure boiling water. What I just did is I just emptied these. I'm just going to fill them back up with water. This is so hot, it's boiling water coming out of that tap. On top of that, they've been sitting in this boiling water in this pot. The next step we're going to do is we're going to pick it up. Be careful about the top. Oh, it's really hot too. Pull them out. Don't have much time to do this. And then we're going to pour it. Your jar is hot. And you're going to pour it inside of here. Now it'd be better if you had one of those canning funnels. Then you wouldn't make a gigantic mess like what I'm making right now. No worry, we'll figure it out. The jar gets pretty hot pretty fast. Now I'm going to turn off the heat on the stove. There's jar number 1. These right over here are tomato jars. You can even see the date on them. The jar expired February 2nd. Kind of funny. Oh, really hot. There are special funnels for this, and of course I've ordered them, but everything is back ordered, so I'm waiting. Okay. Could use a Pyrex container. That'd be a little cleaner. If you were canning, you would leave what they call headroom, about that much. Alright, we'll put the cover on. Alright, what do we do with the rest? Well, we're going to let it cool down, and then we're going to put it in the freezer bags. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So there's plenty left in the stock pot, but since I've already made this once before, I just wanted to show you. What I did is I froze it in quart-sized plastic bags. So, and this is a good way to be able to extend the life of your compote. Now these over here, what I've done, as you saw, after I finished, I washed them in hot water, and they're not what you consider sealed like for canning, but they're perfect for your refrigerator jam. And then if you want to give this away, what I normally do is I give gifts like this. Because I don't have my ball jars yet, but that's coming soon. But remember, there's no sugar in it. If you're the person like me who can just pop these kumquats in your mouth and you love them just like that, then this is a compote that you're going to love. If you're a person that prefers to have a little sweeter, then all you have to do is add 1 or 2 cups of organic sugar into your stock pot and then mix it all up, and it'll be a little sweeter. I'm trying to get away from the sugar. I'm trying to make it as natural as possible, and that's why I decided to do it this way. We found out that placed in a plastic container, the compote was gelled up within 2 days. Thank you very much for watching us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye-bye now. Okay, this might be a little overkill. I could eat this all day long. Of course, then I'd probably be a lot fatter. Because, you know, food's got calories. It's tart, but I love that flavor. I put it on top of my oatmeal in the morning, and it just adds the life. Sometimes I mix it up with blueberries. My wife thinks that's a little strange, but she's used to me. Now I have a heck of a lot of cleaning to do. The entire sink is full of dishes. We're looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye now.